Greetings to all. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I every day that each and every one of you and relations and the many blessings. And host, Mr. Also known, and it says the connection is bad right off the get go. It was having issues trying to log in. So I wanted to hit 420, but missed it. Uh, the computer trying to log on. And so this is, we can chat as long as as long as this thing will last. But so it's sort of an update. But actually, I just wanted to have a 420 with everybody, and but also to peace be upon you, Travis. Hello, and hey, Mossy Man, my my favorite two dudes out there. Travis, I'm being nosy and help me. Whereabouts are you located? What part of the universe? I know Richard's in the UK, right? Richard the Lionhearted. And I was just and I know Mossy Man's on the West Coast. So where about you located? Where's your spot in Google? Hey, Richard, just talking about you. You're in you're in the UK, right? I'm just trying to place people in my world in my head. I'm I still hurt. It hurts when I walk. My legs are still swelled, but I'm doing better. Indiana. Okay, see, I was born up in Ohio, so we're up there in that Midwest. Okay, Indiana. Indiana. Travis is in Indiana. Well, if I come up to Ohio this summer, maybe we could, whatever. That'd be cool. But anyway, so Mossy Man, Richard, yeah. How are you? Okay, I I feel remarkably good considering. And I was sitting here with my feet up, which let me put my feet up. That's part of my therapy for today. Um, I got swelling in my feet, and I caused that. But so my therapy is get your feet up, Dave. I got a new position for this dang thing, and I'm not quite sure if I like it. But anyway, but the nurse was here. I got a picture of they're just counting. There's at least 20, and that's a low number. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was double that amount. There must be 50 staples in there. But a sucker is this freaking long, I would expect a few, but it just looks like they took a staple gun and went blap, 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 right on up there, which is probably what they did, actually. You know, it's craziness. Um, my issue is with pain is not necessarily the constant pain. I'm sore as a bugger, let me tell you. And the back muscles are doing little spasms, but I I can deal with them. It's like, all right, calm down. I can kind of move a little bit and stretch a little bit, but the shooting pains that are coming out of my hips, down the back of my legs, and back to the back of my knees, literally cripple me. I just buckle, and they're intermittent. I can be sitting here and one will fire off, and pop, I'll go like this, you know, and it's like, well, so that's the pain. There are two um, separate types of pain. One absolutely neurologically, and the other is muscular. You know, I know the difference. So I'm controlling the pain with I've got gabapentin of different sizes, or they're not well. Yeah, I guess the big one is a different shape. Gel caps, 300, 3 times a day, 300 milligram. Then he doubled that because of my surgery. And I noticed that if I take the 600, it seemed to be a little too much. Oh, dude, Mossy Man about food. Well, anyway, let me finish with the pain thing. So what I'm doing is I want to be able to manage my pain without being hooked, you know. So I have waited an hour longer to take my meds. I have switched from the Oxycontin to um, my other one that is my normal pain medication before the operation, better at one time than the other. So and then I'm trying like 300 milligrams of gabapentin, and if that don't work, I got some 100s. So I take one or two of those to supplement. So I want to make sure that it kills it, but I don't want to overdo it with the drugs. And since I have control of the pills, that's what I'm doing. Um, Without messing up and being stupid. The other day I was taking them. Be I'd look at the clock and go, man, I got to wait an hour, and I'd go, well, I'm going to cheat on this one. So I cheated a couple of times when I first got home, which is like right now. And so, but now I'm waiting an hour after, well, it's 6 hours. Yeah, but so my frame of reference is about 10:30 morning and night. So, because everything I take twice is on that cycle. And the other meds, the pain meds, are on 6 hour cycles. So I can, you know, sneak in there with the meds every six. And then on the 12 mark, I take another pill, per pain. So I'm under control with it. And like I was trying to say earlier, I'm remarkably comfortable under the circumstances. And for whatever reason, I feel damn guilty. It's like, wait a minute, are you really supposed to feel this good a week out of the hospital? I, it's okay. And I feel elated in a lot of ways. Nothing special has happened. If I could share the picture with y'all, uh, the incision looks. I've seen the picture. I'd hold it up if it made any good. Um, but oh my God, thank you for whatever spirits now. It's pulling at me right now while I'm sitting here, you know. And in my imagery, I'll get to the food thing. And for me, it's Bob the Builder. I did that long time ago when I had neck surgery back in the 80s. So I've been visualizing healing in different ways for a long time. And so I got my little buddies in there and I, close my eyes and meditate and say, okay, guys, you get there with your needle and thread or whatever you need to go, spackling compound, whatever it is, to help heal them muscles back together down the incision from the inside. And I feel them little workers in it up and down it are, I swear to goodness. So why does my back look so well? I got my little Bob the Builder guys just working their tails off, and it's showing up. And also, I know the healing from the universe. I believe right now. Mossy Man, about the food. I couldn't talk on Friday last week because of the steroids and my overemphasis of wanting to speak, and I stressed my voice, and everything's better, but you can probably still hear in my voice that I still got some crackle to it. And so it's getting better. It's more stable. I'm not pushing my voice. And when I'm on steroids and I push my voice, I just make it worse. So got to calm down and and in speaking, I don't try to push the air out. I just, ooh, it's kind of an ohm kind of thing with the vocal cords. But anyway, for the foods. So today I'm up, getting ready for the nurse, which came on time this afternoon, and, getting situated. And I'm like, okay, what have I got to do? All right, I got to call Meals on Wheels and get my thing. So the phone rings. Hello, this is WellCare. Okie dokie. And we got a special something something. Okie dokie. And I'm still trying to wake up a little bit. Oh, look, I froze. Mm, I did that one on purpose. Hey, Michelle, peace be upon you all. Oh, and Mother Mary says that's the message. Use those words. Peace be upon you. They're powerful. And just peace be upon you. Peace be upon your heart, your mind, your soul. That's the message. And feel it. But anyway, so the phone rings. It's WellCare. We got this program. Oh, by the way, you qualified because she didn't say that, because you're so goddamn poor. We got this special thing for you. All right. What is it? Well, we have this food program. Are you being fed properly? Now, she don't see my eyes go, what? You know, because I'm literally looking for the number to call for Meals on Wheels. And she said, well, Mr. No, you qualify and your thing, and you still live at, and yes, ma'am, verify, verify. She goes, well, you're could be qualified. You are qualified, but I'm not sure how many meals. But up to 42 meals, frozen dinners will be sent to your house for free. And I went, what? What? I'm fixing to call Meals on Wheels. Now, my freezer ain't that big, It's just on top of a refrigerator. But y'all know Miss Sheila. I'll be calling them up, going, "How much room you got in your freezer?" And my other neighbor, where FedEx usually delivers my stuff, and they won't come down. They won't come down my driveway. It's too bumpy. I understand. They don't want to scratch their truck. I understand. So they deliver it up to the neighbors, but I can't get there right now. So I'm going to have to, if they're not at home at the time, all that frozen goods is going to be sitting on our back porch, and the dogs and the raccoons and the possums are going to be up there having a with food from WellCare. There are two different companies, and I wrote it down. But anyway, so she goes, "You qualify. We'll get in touch with you, and they'll start sending you frozen dinners." Okay. Now they don't know I don't have a microwave, and I really would rather not have one. But I do have two toaster ovens, and I can make do. you know. But 42, I was sitting here, well, 3 meals a day, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So that's 5 days. Double that, that's 30 days. I mean, that's 10 days. That's 30 meals. Well, from 42, that's 12. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So 14 days of food, 2 weeks for nothing. Going to send it, by FedEx from these one of these two different companies. I couldn't ask for more. I didn't even ask, but they called up just before I called Meals on Wheels, and I know Meals on Wheels is stressed because of me talking with some other folks around here, and I'm like, I really don't want. I was going to pay for it rather than beg for it, and because I'm not rich, but I got enough. They said it was $6 a meal. So unless the meal is really crappy, I was going to donate $10 to cover my meal and maybe partially for somebody else. So here's $10. for the meal and thank you, and a little tip maybe for the driver, and thank you. But if they're going to send me all this free food for nothing, okie dokie. Now I don't know what kind of meals. It might be some. The lady said, "Do you have any preferences?" And I said, "No, no, ma'am. Like, are you diabetic? No. Do you have high blood? Does everything need to be low fat?" And I was like, "Hell no." You know. Um, so, and I'm thinking, she goes, "Anything else that you might be allergic to?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm allergic to yuck." And she laughed and just busted out laughing. I said, "If it tastes like yuck, I'm allergic to it." So, but anyway, we'll see. They're supposed to call me back when it's going to be, when they're going to start delivery and when to expect it, kind of thing. I can't ask for better, you know. And if I could turn this camera around and play today, I'm very grateful. I'm here mostly because I was trying my best to hit the 420 and missed it. And it's like, well, we don't really need a reason. Those of us who, want a 420. Ow, 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 ow. That shit right there hurts. Whoa. Whoa. I dropped my glasses. Take your breath away. Mm. But it doesn't hurt like that all the time. Now, the other day, it was hurting like that all the time. Lard, huh? Slow cooked my pork in that puree. Got my corn tortillas and onion. Oh, damn, that sounds good, man. It really does. And I truly mean it. I'm sitting here meditating, looking out the window, and I got my feet up, and take my meds and just chilling here. And like I said, I got so comfortable. I feel guilty for some reason. It's like, duh. I think I earned this one. you know, two operations instead of one, and all this other calamity crap. But I'm still here. And the amount of pain that I had to go through for them 2 days before the second operation. I don't know what that lesson is as far as my shamanism, but I will discuss it here and try to explain it. How about that? And it is in that in a shaman's death, that there are different tribes, different um, Indian nations have their own procedures to become a shaman. You had to pass the test. And I mean, technically, you're not supposed to drive a car legally unless you pass the test. Oh, and I found out the other day my granddaughter, who's in her at least 30s, um, doesn't know how to drive. I'm like, what? You've been in the Navy? Oh, so that's one reason why you haven't come to see me. You're totally dependent on another driver. She can't even go to the store without a driver. Holy carp. When I get well, I'm going to go down there and teach you how to drive a stick shift, honey. But you can't drive at all? Um, in this day and age, you can't drive. And I'm not mad, sad, or disappointed or anything. I'm really like, what? So we need to help my granddaughter out, to be able to drive. Holy mackerel. Um, Holy mackerel there, Andy. At the age of 13, I was backing up semi tractor trailers on the carnival. Wait a minute, we can fix this. It might not be a tractor trailer, but we can fix this. But anyway, I'm gleefully happy for some damn reason. And I'm extremely proud for the energy and the healing and so forth for myself. And I have always been, for the longest time, let me do the suffering. Let me take the burden. If you're hurting, to the universe, and Michelle, I'm going to pick on you. but Michelle out there's got having a bad toothache or something, and my thought is, to the universe, Crow, send this message and allow me to take some of that pain. Allow me to take some of that and relieve my friend or whoever's in need. And I don't know if if it works, you know. And okay, I'm done talking about you, Michelle. And that was just an example, y'all. But to the point though, so that's what I do. I just go, okay, can I take that pain and can I? Because if I take the pain, then I can control it and modify it and live with it. I don't know if it's really happened, but I do know that I feel like I have relieved pain for other people. Other folks will say, "Yeah, I feel better," or whatever. Was that you that did that? I don't know. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to brag or say it was me. All I know is I send the prayers out and hope that they work. In whatever capacity or level. So, but I'm sitting here looking out, just going down the list, y'all, and like I'm looking at the chat room, and there's Mossy Man, and there's prayers out to y'all. Hope everything's okay. Boom, there goes one. There goes one. And all I can say is I hope that for today it's been cheerfulness and giddiness. I hope y'all are laughing out there. That's what I've said it out. Ha 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 hee hee hee. Come on, let's smoke a bowl with me. Ha 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 hee hee hee. It's Monday. Holy crap. For me it's a week out of the hospital, and there are so many changes in my body. No, I'm not growing a breast again. I kind of miss it. I'm sorry. I'm in that kind of a giddy mood. Giddy up. Giddy up, a bow, mama, boom, pop, a mow, mow. My heart's on fire, Elvira. I think that was the Statler brothers. Anyway, a 20. But peace be upon you. My Mother Mary message coming out of that second one. And it's kind of been reinforced. That's the word. A couple of things that just popped up. It's like peace. I mean, for me, is like boom. There's one. Boom. There's one. I think somebody sent me a message or something about Mother Mary and something, and I was like, boom. There's another one because I didn't solicit anything about Mother Mary. It came from the person genuinely. So it's like, ding. There goes one. There goes another one. There's one. There's another mention. So in looking and being observant, there are several. I said, "How is your peripheral vision?" And the dear sir that my physical therapist, and he goes, "Why?" And I said, "Because mine's really good." And I'm bragging. It is, but I practice. You know. So what is peripheral vision? So you look straight ahead. All right. Now your peripheral vision is either side, up or down. All right. So peripherally, tweet, spit that one out. Blech. Cold coffee and a goat bowl goes right every time. And I'm trying not to smoke my. Oops. I am drooling or spitting or something to just like coming out. Also, TMI, I stood up and like leaked. Had to change my drawers. That's unexpected. Hey, Miss Pearl, I was looking for your number to call you just to chat for. Well, hello. Hang on. Who is this person? Hello.
Hey, is this Mr. Noel?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Mr. Noel, my name is Brent Beasley. I'm a physical therapy assistant with Centerwell Home Health.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good, trying to stay out of the wind.
Yep.
Wind's pretty rough out there. I was calling. I've got you tomorrow for therapy, and I know you got a doctor's appointment tomorrow afternoon. Show it on the computer. Do you still have that doctor's appointment tomorrow?
Yeah, actually, and they added another one. I'm going to be in Upong's office for a heart echo.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna call and ask you because I didn't know, how you feel about it. But I could actually, if it would be okay, I could see you between like 9:30 to 10 tomorrow. I just didn't know how your day was. I was trying to get you before you left because I know how busy you'll be, going to all those appointments. I just didn't know.
I'm gonna be here, and so 9:30 to 10. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. I may be around 9:15 to 9:30 because we've got a meeting in the morning on the telephone, and I'm just gonna be on the meeting. When it gets off, I'll probably be close to you.
Okay.
I'm out here in Hopeful on the other side of Pelham, so I'm not too terribly far from your area.
No, you're not. Well, I might be asleep, so knock on the door. Come on in. You know I'm down. You know I'm down the trail, right?
Down the trail. Okay. Yeah, I've got 254 Zion Grove Church Road.
Yeah, but you can't see my house from the road.
Okay, down the trail.
Yeah, look for this sign when you get to the intersection of Zion Grove and Lloyd Road. I'm about 200 feet, well, maybe 200 yards. Anyway, on the coming, what you're going to be coming from Pelham, though, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you're going to be coming to the Lower Meigs Road.
Yes, sir.
And then cross the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a road on the right. That's Zion Grove. As you're coming up around the curve, you'll see a trailer on the right. That ain't me. It's 175 feet from his driveway to the next on the right.
Okay.
There's a big sign that you can see from the road, Little Ochlockonee River Hermitage.
Okay.
That's the driveway, and I'm down there.
Okay. Well, I sure look forward to meeting you.
All right. See you in the morning.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See how things are working out. Now, for those of you who just piled in here, hi, Esty, and hey, Pearl. My WellCare group called me and said we have a special program, Mr. Null, and we have available for you if you need food that we can deliver it to you up to 42 meals for free. And would you like that service? I was like, yeah, okay. And I was just getting ready to call Meals on Wheels. So there are things happening. Therapist tomorrow morning. I've got 2 doctor's appointments, one for a heart echo, one for my back. And so things are going right along as well as I can possibly ask for. And so everything now is up to me to heal. And I trust you, my friends. I'm not going to mess this up. Hell no. 2 operations instead of 1. Hell no. I am not going to mess this up because there are still people out there that I want to meet. And with the way I'm healing, because of the way my lumbar is fused together and being one piece of bone, it's up to me now. When the physical therapist left last week, I don't have any limitations. If you can reach it and it don't hurt, do it. If you can walk across the floor over there and do it. But the stabbing pains that are just intermittent, that's what I'm working on. But I'm still exercising. I got my things, put my feet up, the swelling's down. So I'm doing everything I possibly can. And I absolutely know y'all are sending me prayers. And I just feel unworthy. But all my life, I've been told, you're no good. You don't deserve that, Dave. And so I felt like that for a long, long, long time, like for 40 plus years that way. That's a long time to feel. And there were other people along the way. Well, you're not really qualified for that when, I could do your job twice. And in certain situations, I kind of proved them wrong. It's time for them. Wait. It's time for them adult pads. Yeah, damn it. I use Poise pads? Oak Ridge. I'm cooking ground beef with onion and leek, served with carrots and jacket potato. Richard, what the hell is jacket potato? Does that mean you bake it in the skin? Jacket potato. I mean, it sounds groovy, but I'm like, what the hell? I've never heard that term. It's sort of like pigs in a blanket, you know? Do you wrap them up and, yeah, sort of, you know. I do have some depends in there. Wow, I'm popular today. Hang on. Hello.
Hey, it's Tom. How you?
Hi, Tom. How are you, my dear friend?
I got terrible arthritis today.
Yeah, well, I'm actually feeling pretty good. We could swap.
No, thank you. I just assume not have 1,000,001 staples in my back.
Yeah, that's true. But they look great, Tom. I got a picture of it. It looks great. So,
So it's healing up around them?
pardon?
So it's healing up around them?
Oh yeah, it looks so good. The nurse today, she's like, I've been doing this for 20 years and oh my God, you look so good for compared to all my other patients. So
When do they come out?
well, I'm going to see Cadis tomorrow, and but the nurse said there's been two different nurses yesterday and last week, and now this one again today who saw him the other day. Anyway, they were all like, no, they need to stay in a couple more days after tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so, and I agree because they didn't cut me once; they cut me twice, and that's squint.
You don't want to do it prematurely.
Right, and I don't want to twist or bend a little bit and rip something loose. That just that ain't on my list of stuff to do.
Yeah, that'd set everything back to zero.
Yep, it surely would. And because the trauma, I understand trauma and stuff. So the trauma of my muscles being cut twice, and it's healing great, Tom. It look good. It's like what? But there's a bunch of them in there. So I was going to try to plan to come by to see you either before or after the appointment. But then they called me and said, I've got a heart echo appointment in Moultrie tomorrow. So when we're going to fly in early and get the appointment at Cadis, and we're going to have to haul butt out of there to get to Moultrie.
Well, maybe I can come see you on Thursday up at your place then.
Okay, I mean, I'll be home, and physical therapist is going to be here early tomorrow to catch me before the doctor's appointments. It just so happened there's a bunch of stuff tomorrow. I'll be home afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I don't like going out later in the day because I start to fade.
Right, I understand. Okay, so I'll see you Thursday then, hey?
Yeah, and it won't be too early because I don't move around when it's still cold outside.
I understand. Well, do me a favor just in case. Call me just before you come because I might have something. Hey, Tom, can you pick me up a ...
No problem.
Okay. I love you, brother. Be safe.
You too.
Bye-bye. Another friend going to come and check on me. And he was going to come tomorrow, but baked potato cooked, then I scooped the middle out of the shell. Oh, yeah. I've had that. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I've had that. I just didn't know it was called that. But see, and my friend Tom here, we have been friends ever since. Right after I bought the property, I worked at the same place he did, and we became fast friends right there. And we've been friends for almost 40 years. So God love him, and he used to race my motorcycles and lots of trophies and awards for motorcycle racing. And he drove an old Ducati. And I'm telling you, him being a machinist and everything, just fantastic. He's a crazy old bird like me. He wasn't much into drugs, but he'd smoke a little once in a while. And And he wasn't really into drinking, but he'd get tipsy once in a while. He was just crazy on his own, in a good way. But he was daring. Lay a motorcycle on his side, just and not even wearing pads, just practicing. But anyway, God love him. Anyway, when I first moved here, I just had this little house right here, and it so happened that I'd had a bad accident, jumped a ditch, and took out a 6x6 post, crashed my head into the windshield, busted my arm, and wrecked my vehicle. Well, we found another vehicle, and I had the money. We bought it, another little station wagon, a little Datsun, and he came out one weekend when it was pouring rain. He took the engine out of my wrecked one, put it aside, literally pulled it by hand out of the way, pushed the new one in, the new vehicle, and whose engine was busted, broken bad, pulled that engine out, put my new one that I had just rebuilt in the different car, all by himself in the pouring rain that weekend. And it was cold too. And closed the hood and said, "Your car's ready. Here's your keys." And so that's the kind of guy he is. And slept on the floor up there in the loft, and just I never said a word. I tried to pay him. He said, "Nah." But we have helped each other over the years. So some of the friends that I have are the kind that I would take a bullet for Tommy. I'm telling you, I would take a bullet for him, without question. And he is sort of in ways taken a bullet for me. So, peace be upon you, Tom, and his sister. And she's well, his sister Ruthie. I got a thing for her, but, you know, anyway, it just felt wrong to go try to date Tommy's sister. Even though she'd been single for years and she's a couple years older than me and all that kind of stuff. And it's probably too old to date. But, anyway. Maybe there's a second chance. I don't think we'd marry or anything, but she's a good companion. Hey, let's go to the concert. Don't want to go by myself. Ruthie, what you doing? Maybe that kind of thing. But uh, anyway, that's enough. TMI actually. What'd you say, Richard? But I just want to get on here and share the joy. There is joy in this universe. If anybody, questions, wow, you don't know what it feels like. I'll trade you if you really want. You can go through that first pain thing and the hematomas thing and tell me whether or not I've suffered enough to know what it means to be, oh, okay, shut up, that group over there. Um, but I would actually really not want to put that kind of pain on anybody. Oh, back to the shaman's death. We kind of skipped. I had two phone calls while y'all are here. Wow, busy day. Um, and for me, we're coming up on a 20. See, I don't set my clocks forward. You know that. And so for me, I'm coming up on 420. If y'all want to join me. Hey, Barry, is that Tom you talked about before? Yeah, he's the one that owns that old car out back. He's the one that's got two great big giant V8 engines hooked together. That's Tom. The Bat card. I've had loads of motorbikes. I started riding when I was only 8. I did a load of off-roading and had 2 dirt bikes. I'm too old and broken now to even think of it. Richard, I was thinking, if they fixed my back, I could get me a little four-wheeler to go around in the woods back there, or at least you know, I have a couple of frames of old riding lawnmowers, and to get back on my feet. And I've torn down. Now I don't like 8-cylinder engines. Okay, I've torn this down. Old 236 Chevy engines, fixed them back up, had them drilled out, bigger, larger pistons, put them back together, and some Sun's Guns run. I've also the engine I was talking about that Tommy put in a different vehicle for me after my accident way back. I mean, it was in the 80s, and it ran for a long time. Drove it all over the place, mountains to New Orleans, and then sold it to a friend of mine who drove the bejeebers out of it, and it just kept on. That engine kept on running, so I can rebuild things and engines and sort, and personally know that they run. Isby, how are you, man? I've been sending prayers your way. I hope you're stabilized. I really do. I've talked to you about Tom before, Barry. Yeah. Baked potatoes scooped with stuff and then put back in. Mmm. Mmm. Yum. Now I can do some stuff, but I don't know. I, somebody said, well, just put it in the oven and bake it. I tried it, like frying fish. I can't do fried fish. I mean, I can eat it, but somebody said, put a little batter in it, toss it in the pan. I can't do it. I will ruin it every single time, no matter what I frickin' do. I can't fry fish. I've tried big pieces of fish, little pieces of fish. I can't fry fish. One of the things on the list I have accepted over the years that if I want a good home cooked meal of fried fish, I got to go to somebody else's house. I can't do it, you know. I can do all kinds of steaks and pork and this and that and chicken and ooh, yum, yum. But fry some fish? Nah, I can't do it. Broil it? Okay. Bake it? All right. Can't fry it. Just might as well throw it out if you want me to fry it. So, but anyway, um, I know y'all can hear the giddiness in my voice. Don't know what's going on. Um, it seems like all of us have been oppressed and pressed down. Now, talking about my second operation, for me personally, the idea of that shaman death, that different tribes and so forth would actually dig a hole and climb in it. Then they would cover the top of the hole, and you would stay in there to have a dream quest, to have a spirit quest, and so that the old you had to die physically, be in a grave, and then crawl back out. Well, years ago when I spent that 3 days on the river, I wasn't really covered up, but I was in this depression between two palmetto bushes right on the edge of the river, a high bank spot on the river. And I was in that little spot and I was covered up with palmetto bushes, not thinking of it at the time as a shaman's death. So, and I really wasn't sure about my journey as a shaman. It was, to me, it was pre-shaman and what really pushed me over the edge. So that time in for the 3 day thing, I could see myself walking off in the distance with a spirit on either side. And that was like, whoops, okay. So after the event and since looking back, was that my shaman's death? I don't know. It could represent it. I did survive it. It was, the 1st of August, like around the 9th of August during dog days. It was 102 in the shade. It was miserable. And I got out of there with I still had a little bit of drink in the bottom of my it was a Gatorade thing, and a Powerade thing that was one of the bigger ones, and a couple of little Debbie cakes. That was all I had, and made it 3 days. So now this time, feeling great. First operation, everything went smooth. Then a hematoma popped up, ding, and then 2 days of severe pain, and then go back in. It was 7 days and 7 hours exactly when they rolled me back in to do the second operation. So the second cutting, you know, up my back, um, the Kundalini chakra thing, they cut through my chakras, if you will. Probably about three of them if you was to look real close. So, but is that a shaman death? Does that put me in another level? Well, I've said before, something happened after that second operation. I mean, spiritually, I got this. I got music in me again. I feel it. I absolutely feel different. So what the hell? I don't know. But peace be upon you is the message from Mother Mary, and she didn't appear to me, but I know it was her. They're just her essence, and it's like Hawkeye. Remember, just tell the people. The message is spread the word. Peace be upon you. Well, I know y'all are going favor upon you and all that. Nothing wrong with that. But how many of us actually wish peace upon another person? And that's what Jesus did. That's what the Christ thing is all about. And so he walked about with people and talking to him, saying, "Peace be unto you, my brothers and sisters." Many times in the New Testament, "Peace be upon you, my brothers and sisters." And I ain't trying to be like Jesus, but I am a warrior for Christ. So, but what's wrong with that message? Whoever your your religion is, you know, forget about the religion. Honestly, quit arguing about it. If you want to be that way over there and do that little thing, then go over there and do that as long as it's not harmful. No stabbing and killing of any kind of critters for any kind of spell or project or whatever. Nah, that's out. So, but what we do is we accept peace within ourselves too. I know there are folks out there that say, "Well, I got my mind together and I got my thing together." That you ain't peaceable worth a shit because you're angry and you're and but this and God's put this on me and I can just hear in your voice even when you type you're not at peace at all. Ooh, calm down. Take a deep breath. We got 4 minutes for a 20. So and so sort of in a dream state because when they knock you out for the operations, you're about this close to being dead, in that heart rate and everything. Uh, Same to you, ST. It's good to see you. They won't wait. Somebody's writing. Good evening. It'd be. They won't let you, doctor, tell me when I want to go outside. I understand. We're all rooting for you, dude. You know. And here's one thing. I got a friend of mine down in Tampa who's been operated on for colon cancer. I cancer anyway, but in that area. She's been going through a lot of pain, having a lot of trouble, and prayers to her. Her husband's had a stent. He's also had lumbar surgery in the same area where I got, and he don't get around as good as me. And I'm going to be able to get around better than him, and I'm 3 or 4 years older. Now, that's maybe why I feel guilty. Wait a minute. I just had all this surgery and I don't feel great. I'm gonna groan and hurt standing up, but I'm standing and I'm walking and I know I have to exercise and get better. Physical therapy is going to be here in the morning. So and food is somehow on the way to this neighborhood. So, oh my God, how can I ask for more when the other day I'm in here? I'm getting rejected by the Wheels on Meals, can't find the damn number. It was chaotic. And now they're calling me just out of the blue. Here you go. Do you need this service? Yeah, okay. What about this? Okie dokie. Now, tomorrow, not only do I get to look at my MRI charts from the second one they did and compare the two with the doctor, and also then I get to do a heart echo for my heart to make sure that that is good in that department, which so far, knock on wood, it is. So, but anyway, but that what does that mean? Well, Dave's talking about himself again. It's all about itself. It means that I'm gonna be around for a while, y'all. It means that I get to be here to help try to spread the peace and the honor. And I'm gonna be here for a while to discuss some other things, hopefully, that will help other people to see how well they can operate within the universe. I know it's tough out there. I've had bumps and skids from life for the last since I was born, and but I'm living proof that you can get through it. So, what does all this mean personally? It means I'm going to be here. We can be friends for a while without having to, you know. I've met some of you I've spoken with personally. I absolutely dearly love you for your time, and it's great to know you. It's time. Yep. Ding ding. What does the clock say? Like, my eyes are foggy today. 1 minute. See, I don't say so. For those of you in Central Time Zone, it is a 4:20. One, two, three, four, go. Yum yum. Mm. I did miss that in the hospital, but I went 10 days without smoking. Sun, how you doing? Yep, I'm doing extremely well under the circumstances, and I feel guilty. I'm so crazy. I mean, I really do. That one reason why I come on, it was like I'm sitting here, and I feel too good to just sit here by myself. I'm looking out the window, and I don't want to bother anybody. And I was like, well, let me just do a 420 video, which was an hour ago now, and and just hang out and chat, and peace be upon you. I really do mean that. So here's the message for the day: peace be upon you in any way, in shape, or form, and let's share a 20 and and have a good time. Everybody have a good time. You know, ow, 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 ow. Some bitch, I got a cramp in my buttocks. Damn it, man. Holy shit. Ooh, wow. Mm, Jiminy Christmas. Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, settle down. Yeah, I'm not moving around much. I mean, but I can get over here to the bathroom, and I've made it to the kitchen a couple of times a day. I have fed the cats just outside, so it's not like I'm not moving. But I'm supposed. My therapy for today is to keep my dang feet up because circulation has settled down there. My fault. They have these compression socks from the knee down, and I wore them too long, one day too long. And when I pulled them off, my legs were like bloom. my leg, maybe this is TMI, but it's part of the deal. My legs had swelled so much that there were blisters and fluid coming out my skin. I was like, good God Almighty, I'm gonna split right open, you know. But I put cream on it and massaged my legs best I could. Got them up immediately, and swelling's down, looks good, and I'll be I'll be chilling, with my legs up. like a ballerina doing this thing. Never mind. But anyway, so wanted to share the good mood, wanted to share the 20. I wish, we could be here and just pass the pipe around. So this is my way of sharing. Just, hey y'all, how you doing? I know, Isby, that you're going through stuff too, but smile, buddy. Oh, what I was going to tell you, Isby, and all y'all, I know about patience. I really do. At least I thought I did until this came along. And so for the second operation, I was like, son of a bitch. How did I'm in pain and control. I mean, no, I don't remember those 2 days. I just remember all I was doing was focus on not hurting. And when my time was up, ding, I hit the button. Help me, please. But they were shooting me up with steroids and shooting me up with morphine, and I was taking the Oxycontin. And oh, by the way, that Oxy, what the hell? What's the deal? Why are people hooked on them things? Well, I don't really like them. You know, I've actually swapped over from the Oxy to my pain meds, and I can't remember the name of them right now, but anyway, and I've actually had better results because when I spoke to my great Dr. Eric, he said, those two are really close together. And I was like, he was saying, don't take them together. Don't try to cross them. So I was like, well, okay. But in all of this, it's patience. Even though I was hurting, where I was on schedule for the operation, and I was actually an hour and a half early. I mean, just stuff. But to the point, though, that sometimes you just have to wait, and it's uncomfortable, whether it hurts or not. But you want to go, and you want to do, and my friend down in the hospital I told her, I said, you got to be patient. I just went through this shit, and there's sometimes you just have to wait. And all your argument and all you want to go, 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 and I want to do and I want to get better. Sometimes you just got to shut up, in her case, because she's very vocal about this stuff. And yapping at it ain't going to do you a bit of damn good. And you know the doctor's going to do it. You know you're on the schedule, then shut up. Well, why should I wait 2 days if there are a bunch of people in front of you? And, first come, first serve, honey. You just going to have to wait. I had to wait because I couldn't go into surgery on Wednesday. There was already people scheduled back to back to back to back. And I don't want the man to be tired out to operate on me because, oh, this is an emergency. So I had to be patient the next day to get surgery where they could schedule me easier. And so you just have to wait. You have to be patient. And that, ain't easy. In some cases, it's really tough, like mine. Well, it's coming up, Mr. Null. You just have to wait to get there. Okie dokie. Fill me full of drugs and let's go. So I know there is waiting periods, but there are folks out there that I know personally for years. Shut up, sit down, be quiet. They're coming. You have to be patient. But patience comes in many levels and in different sizes and shapes and stuff. What'd you say, son? Some some food cramps can be stopped by just standing up. Yep. No, that was a butt cramp. But yeah, I understand. And I have taken y'all's advice. Somebody was in here the other day. Oh, you got to have magnesium and this and that and this, and you really should take. And I mean, they were being honest, and guess what? Here's the bottle. It's sitting right over there. Of magnesium and zinc. One of the first things I did when I got home was find my zinc. Lunchtime. Thank you. It's lunchtime now. Boy, they're a little slow. But now for Meals on Wheels to get a meal, I used to work for the same program, the Southwest Georgia Community Action Council, and they are the umbrella under which these other um, programs operate. There is a central director, and if it's the same person who became director when I worked for them, I know this lady personally. So, but I knew several of the directors there was like the director for aging, and they were under this umbrella. And there was the director for the weatherization program, which I worked for. Then there was the director for transportation and where the vehicles were going because they serve like 12 counties. And so there was a director of of Meals on Wheels, and that one there, you know, so there were directors for each one of these programs, which is they've been modified, but it's still under this umbrella of the Southwest Georgia Community Action Council, and and they've done very well over the years. They've actually grown. Many of these programs they have to reapply for a grant every year, which is to me is stupid, but they're legislated out the money for these programs. And Meals on Wheels is a lot of donations. And they back in the day they relied heavily upon volunteer drivers who put in their own money and their own time. And it's like, listen, I'll give you a tip. You're gonna bring me a decent home cooked meal. And back in the day, they weren't the best, but they weren't yuck. Now I understand that somebody around who in this area that they delivered a meal and she was like, "Take this garbage back. I'll never eat from something like this again." Well, if you're that freaking snooty, you know, I don't like canned green beans. I just don't. Since I was a kid, fresh green beans and the garlic fried, I'll sit there and eat them till I get sick. But a canned green bean out of the can somehow retains some kind of tinny taste, and I don't like it. But if you bake those things in a casserole, I can eat a green bean casserole. But if you put them things on a plate and say, "Here," but just dump them out of a can and heat them up, eh, um, I'd prefer not. Can I have another vegetable, please? you know, and they were big ones in the hospital. But I managed to eat them, and because it's a dental thing too. Listen, forget about the can. It's a green bean, you know. And also, when you're eating, especially if something is like really, you can tell something's been cooked. It's not going to kill you, and it's like, well, I don't really like it. Well, are you going to be snooty about it, or are you going to go hungry? So why don't you just tell your mind, listen here. Um, It's not pig slop, but my brain doesn't like it. Let me taste this and see if I can imagine something else. Or hold your damn nose because maybe there's a spice or something in it because the nose is the first thing that will tell you, warning, warning, we don't like this. So it might be that your nose is messing with you. You know, go go stick your nose under your arm and then come back and eat that. And see what happens. Well, that smells like shit. Your armpit smells like shit. We got trouble. you know, Whoops. That's the wrong thing to do. But, in this world of things and stuff, all kinds of bombings, all kinds of crap, all kinds of crazy people, peace be upon you. And peace be upon you. 4 words. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Not hard. But one of the things that Mother Mary has stressed is we need to have that peace upon us. Because when we feel at peace, we project that to other people. So if I'm in a tense, jumpy, rancy kind of thing, and I'm always hyper and something's always, then you're really not at peace. You can be at peace and still be jumpy and stuff, but there's a contortion that comes out of your face, and oh, I got to get this done, and blah 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 blah. And the nurse here this morning, I she was like racing around to do this. And I turned and I said, slow down. Well, I gotta, and I said, slow down. You're not in any hurry here. And she goes, well, I'm always like that. I'm always like, take a deep breath. And she goes, I went to such and such for a vacation, and all the people there said, you're on vacation. Why are you rushing around all the time? And I went, see, but she was cute, and I said, just take a deep breath, because she was just a little too hyper. She was doing her job well and everything was groovy, but she needed to take a deep breath. Let's see who's up. My neighbors. Oh, hi. Hello, how you doing?
All right, brother. Hey,
I'm sitting here doing a live stream and talking about how crazy I feel today.
yeah, you do grits and eggs,
Do I do what?
grits and eggs and bacon.
Not too much on the grits, but now I like Sheila's grits.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, but not too heavy on the grits, but scrambled eggs, or I love hard scrambled eggs and the bacon. Absolutely, that'll work.
right, hard scrambled eggs. All righty then.
Yeah, you can burn them and I'll eat them. That's how well brown them, and not necessary, but to the some folks that get burnt.
yeah,
We used to chop up potatoes and mix them in with the scrambled eggs.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
All righty. Well, I'm here and I'll be here. Okay.
all right, well, she'll scramble you up, son.
Okay, that works.
We just seen you a little bit of side grit.
Yeah, I like her. I want to try them. Put some in there.
All right, then, brother.
Okay. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, I'll see you after a while.
All right. Bye bye. There's supper. A good old Southern meal of cheese grits and eggs and some bacon. I don't know what they're eating for breakfast, but um, but they're over that way in the woods for me, and we've become good friends, and blessings to them. Even grits and eggs for supper. That works for me. But anyway, I didn't mean to make this a long video today, but my emphasis still my Mother Mary message for anyone and everyone. And I'm going to do a separate video about how we get peace in our heart. The stress and stuff within our brains, the stress and stuff within our bodies, that how maybe we can make peace within ourselves. And in that, um, you know, I have met people who were at peace with themselves, and it just shows. It's like they glow. And it's just wherever you go, whatever you do, and if you're busy all the time and you're out and about and whatever, if you have this peace about you, your aura, and it's got the right color and everything, you don't have to say a word. People will notice it. And those people who can sense those things, not necessarily hyper or whatever, but they'll notice, go, whoa, and it'll put us, and all you gotta do is smile and wave, hi, how you doing? La 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 la, but it will, your glow will show. Yes, and Pearl, yep, yep, yep. I'm going to get settled if I can find the phone. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute, just for shits and giggles. So, you up for that? If I can find your number. It's around here somewhere. It's around this area, and things keep getting dumped on the floor, and I pick them back up, and there it goes. Whoop, there it goes to the floor again, and back up again. And Elderberry, I don't know if he's still hanging on in here or not, but one of the things, and talking about it, if it drops to the floor, whoops, there it is. We'll see you later. I don't know when, but bye. The floor just ate it. No, well, what about that? You know, you drop that pill on the floor. See you next week, if ever. Can't get down there. But anyway, try to look at the humorous things. All of this has been a pain in the butt. None of this has really been easy, and I'm just looking on the bright side of it. It hurts like hell, but damn it, I'm gonna in a couple of days or a week or so, I'm gonna lick this shit, and I'm gonna be back in the kayak, and I'm gonna be able to walk over to the mulberry bush. I'll be able to drive my truck again. I mean, those things are endless. I'll be able to be a human being again. So don't give up. Sometimes you got to be patient. You got to be patient and let it work out. There's nothing else about it. You can scream to the universe, but you still go. So when you scream to the universe, ask the spirits, ask the creator, give me the strength to be patient, to make it through this whatever. Ask for patience. Ask for the strength. Don't ask for all this other crap, because that's all I've ever done during this crisis of mine. Lord, give me the strength to get through this. All the other prayers are good and everything groovy. Just give me the strength. I know I got to work it. I know I got to do. I know that. Give me the strength. That's all I've asked for. And here I'm on the other side. Does it work? Hi, guys, gals. Does it work? Hey, does it work? You know, some folks have seen the picture. Which moon? You saw the picture, didn't you? I sent it. Did I send you the picture of my back this morning or this afternoon? She can vouch for it. And as far as a incision goes, that it's that long, it looks great. I'm like, what? Twice it was cut. So, in talking about this, leave the staples in for another few more days to make sure that it's going to be stable. I'll take care of it. I'll be good. You know, I'm not going to ruin this. Because at some point, if I go back up to Indiana, then I can meet with folks up there. If I can hang a left and go over to Texas, I could be in an area near Witchmoon and some other folks. And I want to go up and see Barry this summer if possible. Me and my dog can go up there and play in the Buffalo River and go fishing somewhere up there. It'd be a lot of fun. And if anybody's in the area, like Steve's over in Kansas, he's going to be in Branson sometime in the near future. Anybody in the area, hey, let's go have coffee together. For me, I would love. I wanted to go back out there. Absolutely, don't know when, but if things work around, we could meet each other and have coffee together. I just think that would be fun. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Peace be upon you is the message, not just of the day, but if we can continue, not push it, just be it. Be at peace with yourself and learn how to do that, and learn how to be patient, because I'm impatient about stuff. I was pissed off the other day. Let me tell you, oh goddamn sons of bitches! Well, I would, behind the scenes, I was a wreck, but I was also, strung out on steroids. So I'm back more to myself again, and I maybe that's why I feel I've been so comfortable to just rearrange in this chair here with all these pillows and not have any strong pain. It's really sore. It's a good 6, and sometimes a 7, and I can feel them little staples tearing the skin back there, and it's okay. I know what it is, so no panic. Um, but I'm comfortable and I feel guilty because I'm comfortable. Oh man, ain't that so stupid? But anyway, cheers everybody. Thank you for, always stopping in, and pass the love along just by being peace, just by being at peace with yourself. You ain't got to go, peace, everybody. Ah, yeah. No, it's the calmer stuff. It's when you say, with emphasis and quietly, peace be upon you, my brothers and sisters. You can hear it better. The frequency is better. The melody is better. And hopefully it will reach you. Peace be upon, wait, peace be upon you, my brothers and sisters. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But I love you, and I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many, 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 many blessings from the universe. And thank you all for being who you are. And it ain't really hard to be at peace with yourself. And when you find it and you feel it, you go, oh, I get it. And there's a calming that will come over you. It's great. The way of the dove, okie doke. But remember, if you're sending prayers to the sick, use crow. Okay. Oh, speaking of crow, there was a commercial or something on TV or something, and they and good eating, Richard. Really. When you taste one, just say this one's for Hawkeye. That sounds so good. And thank you, SD. It's good to see you. Oh, Mossy, I know. Well, you're just going to have to watch it over again because I got dry mouth and I'm out of. I got to go in. I got to limp into the kitchen to get some more coffee. Plus, my supper time might be coming soon. So, but anyway, and I didn't plan on this being long. Peace be upon you. That's what, Mossy, basically. But peace of the heart, peace of the mind. But when I think I've attained a certain amount of it because there are certain things before I just, it doesn't bother me now. And especially after the second operation, something spiritual happened during that. It's still unraveling. Yeah, no problem, Mossy. But I'm just kind of rambling, but in and out, and a couple of phone calls. Like my therapist called. We got a thing tomorrow. My good friend Tommy's going to be out on Thursday, and what was the other one? Anyway, so I'm being and supper. I'm not much of a grits man, but Miss Sheila makes a cheese grit, and they're doing a traditional Southern breakfast for supper. So scrambled eggs and cheese grits with bacon. It will be coming my way in a bit. But anyway, the biggest thing is I'm gonna have to shrimp grits. That might be nice. Richard, what's a cheese grit? Holy crap. Listen, I lived in the South and grew up in Tampa, and I heard about grits. But when I moved up here to South Georgia, whole another thing. Little tiny bits of white corn and um, um, cream of wheat. Do you have cream of wheat there, Richard? Because in all the things that I have eaten over the years, cream of wheat has a similar consistency to me. You don't? Oh, Purina. It would be like a breakfast cereal, and that you mix it with hot water, and it will sort of pop up. Anything like that. Porridge. Okay. I was trying to think. Yeah, oats are bigger than the consistency of grits, You could put 3 or 4 grits in one oatmeal. I never thought about that way, but from a volume kind of thing. And cream of wheat, depending on, um, but most of these are breakfast cereals, most of them. I was thinking of Purina back in the day. They had a box in the old days, and you just shook out some. You know, if depending on how much you wanted, you'd take a half a cup of this and 2 cups of water. Like oatmeal. But anyway, but grits is corn. Oh yeah, Mousy, that's great. But this is corn and kind of gritty grits. That's where they get it. And I've had grits, and it just like I can't eat that shit. But what I learned was I can't eat grits the Southern way. So I eat grits like oatmeal or like what did I just say? The porridge, cream of wheat, and I use sugar and butter and a little bit dash of a dash of milk. So they sent when I was in the hospital. I was kind of creeped out afterwards. I was like, "What?" But anyway, when I got them to bring me milk every breakfast at least, and they served it in these little styrofoam bowls, about yay deep, and with a cover on it, keep it hot. So I'm sitting there and looking at it, and I open it up, and I went, "Oh, oatmeal," or because and then I real because then I poured in sugar and then poured in a dash of milk and mixed it up. I need Creole grits. It's something about the consistency. I just never liked them. But let me tell you, I ate those. I, I thought maybe it was cream of wheat. And I put my sugar and milk in it, stirred it up. I ate it all. And as I got towards the bottom, I was like, these are grits. These are grits. And so I'd run out of milk and butter and I tasted the bottom and I was like, well, these are actually manageable. So maybe I don't like the sloppy grits that run all over the place and people mix their eggs in them and stuff. Eh, not that. But I can tolerate grits if I eat it like oatmeal or cream of wheat. But now, when they put cheese on it, and sometimes they'll kind of sort of bake it a little bit, and the cheese gets hard on top. And I see, Mossy, I love cream of wheat, and y'all like grits. It's just well, kiss my grits. You gone eat your cornbread from the movie like Eddie Murphy? Yeah, yeah, eat that cornbread, boy. Now there's cornbread, white cornbread that they mix on top of in the skillet, and that shit gets hard. Oh Lord have mercy. Even if you got teeth and I ain't got them, you could beat on that shit with a hammer. But I tell you, you put a little liquid in there, and you dip that hard ass white cornbread, stovetop stuff in with your collard greens, and you mix that up with a little bit of vinegar, and you be eating that with that corn, man, it softened up that cornbread. That cornbread tastes good, then. Yum, yum. You go, wow, man, this thing was hard as a brick a minute ago, and then it soaks up the juices from whatever it be that you might be pushing around your plate, and that cornbread tastes good. And you can put it in your back pocket and kill a snake with that cornbread. It's so hard. You could put it, you'll put a lump on somebody's head with that cornbread. But there are folks who know how to cook that cornbread in the pan on top of the stove rather than bake it. And you would swear to God it come out of the oven all nice and flaky, and only the edges of the cornbread would be hard, but the inside of that sucker, you'd swear somebody actually baked it. And a tad of Tabasco sauce. It depends. Cheese and cayenne with smoked sausage in the grits. I like the grits harder more than gooier, you know. And for those of you who are listening, you can you can scramble my eggs hard. I mean, to the point of where they're brown on the edges. As a kid, just liked it that way. Still do. And ketchup with a little bit of hot sauce on them hard scrambled eggs. But I go for that. And I learned that from a little Mexican when I was in jail. Little Joe. What a sport model that some bitch was. And he was in there for a couple of things, but yeah, Mr. Dave, I stabbed me that some bitch. I'm from East Dallas or South Dallas or North. No, it was South, but anyway, little Mexican and feisty. And me and little Joe, man, we ran that kitchen top notch. I have not tried cayenne cornbread, but they do a cornbread down here with peppers and some other stuff in it. And they'll warn you what it is. And I've eaten it. And it depends on who cooks it. Not everybody can cook a good cornbread with them hot ingredients in it. And I mean, you take a bite and your nose is like, whoo, it's hot in there. Yeah, if you're not from the South, and or if you're like Mossy, he was down here in the South. He's like, I'm waiting for the phone to ring again. Yeah, it's rang 3 times, right? All of it good news. But um, Mossy was born and raised in the South. I was born in Ohio and transported down here. But I tell you what, um, since I've been here, I'm when I get well again, one thing I want to do is I want to go up to Andersonville Prison, and I want to do a sort of a documentary while I'm there. Walk up the place, show where the thing, and walk around it because I've been there before several times, and I want to revisit it. And in my collection of ghost stories over the years, there's a couple of stories about the there were some Northerners who were tried by the prisoners, allowed by the Southern warden of Andersonville Prison. Boy, ain't we jumping around on topics. But, and how these 5 or 6 or 7, it wasn't over 7 guys who were Yankees, but they were thieves and they'd killed some of the other prisoners, stolen food. I mean, and so they were so bad that they actually hung them, and they wouldn't bury the northern guys refused to bury them in the same cemetery with the rest of the other northern prisoners who had died. Refused. So there's a separate area where these it was at least 5, and it was I don't think it was 6, it was an odd number. But anyway, so the graves are offset. Well, there are ghost stories about uh um down here it's not Sasquatch, it's the sort of like the swamp thing. But there are dense swamps around here. I wouldn't doubt if there's a bunch of stuff living around. But anyway, back to the ghost thing um, at Andersonville. So now that I've learned how to take pictures of orbs and things, I want to go back and see if I can catch anything on digital camera. I'm playing with my um, cell phone, tried to get it to do live stream from the hospital. I pay enough for the service. I should be able to do a live stream from my phone. If I can't do it with this phone, then I'm going to change services to something that I can do a live stream from my phone. So I want to practice down here with Andersonville. If I get the opportunity to travel this summer, I want to go back to Ohio and spend some time, at least a whole day, at Serpent Mound in Ohio. And, it's just a couple hours drive from my family. So spend the day there and then drive up or drive down and then back or whatever. But anyway, I want to spend a whole day at Serpent Mound and not be in a hurry and take my camera and take pictures of this different times of day, different settings, and see if I catch any orbs or anything there. I'm sure there are some there. But anyway, Sasquatch. So I'm trying to think of uh, it was, some places called it a swamp ape. Um, and I don't necessarily, in my understanding of it and in talking with people who've seen things, um, it's more ape ape-like, doesn't really get it, like long arms and it, but it is human-ish looking, uh, and not necessarily like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, in my humble opinion, I think some of the sightings are Native American type folk who are just, it's easier to cover yourself with mud. And here's the thing, down here in the South with mosquitoes, one of the easiest things to do is cover yourself with mud. They might fly around you and buzz you and all that, but they ain't going to bite you if you got a layer of mud on you. Oh, them savages. Look at them all dirty. Yeah, it was for a reason. They're not getting bit by mosquitoes, dumbass. You have to take what it is at the time. And I was, been stuck down there. Best thing to do is just, get you some mud and put it on you, and they might light all over you. And the buzzing is what I like. Give me some earplugs, but they won't bite you. Maybe if you missed the spot with the mud, but they ain't gonna bite you. So, oh, those savages. So the swamp ape, to me, is not necessarily another species. Okay, I think there are still some Seminole Indians that are hiding down there in the Everglades because it's easy as hell to hide in them thick swamps. I mean, I've been here a long time and I can just sit around back there. My next door neighbor, Ricky, who called about supper, he's my adjacent property. In between us, we got 40 acres and a long stretch of the Little Clockney River. And it's beautiful down here, but you got to be willing to walk down there. And I want to be able to open up the trails again that I've had for a long time. I want to be able to get down there with a chainsaw and open up the river again and, invite people to go kayaking right in my backyard. And even further south, there's further south of me, there's a great big, huge area. And nobody goes down there because it's too hard to go. And any critter that wanted to hide in one of the banks or this or that, you'd never see them. Now, let's talk instead of Sasquatch, let's talk about ancient critters that I have seen and caught on the river down here in the swamp. Was down on the bridge looking down, and it was about average flow. You could see the bottom, and down by the bridge, there's a pipe of some sort that runs under the well, it, at times it ain't under the river when it's low, but you can see this pipe, and it might be a telephone line or something, but you can see it running across the bottom of the river. So me and Joe, who was my teacher and a Lakota medicine man, were standing around looking, and we had been on the river with our kayaks, and we're just looking, and we see this something moving, going upriver. And I am not lying. You can't see my arms, but bigger than, just huge around, was a soft shell turtle. Huge around. I mean, just this big around. You know, it was huge, soft shell turtle. Now we got turtles down here, but usually if they get to be this big, that's a big turtle. You know, and soft shell or otherwise, we got snappers too. So were looking at it, trying to calculate how old is that turtle. Holy crap! It's at least 50 to 100 years old. Holy crap! So then a couple of months later, the river's up more, it's really flowing. And I'd never put a trout line out on the river before. So we were in my training for to be a shaman and a medicine man. Truly, I was being, hey, Steve, I was truly being trained by a certified, if you will, medicine man. So we're down on the river and we put the trap out, which is nothing more than hooks along the line. We had bait on it and everything. And so it was about 11:30 at night. And I'm like, I'm sitting here bored with this other guy that was here for a while. I'm going down to the river and check the line. The canoe was already beached down there. All we had to do was jump in, put our headlamps on, and I've been doing this stuff. It's fun to go down there at nighttime. Other people are creeped out. I have been on the river without a flashlight and made it home, you know, and not run into much. I am just, somebody says, "You're that good, Hawkeye." I'm like, okay, I've had lots of practice, but anyway, so we went down there, jumped in the canoe, and we're working down the trout line, and he's working the back end of the canoe, so it's not, it stays with the current. And the line is being pulled. I mean, big time. Go to get it, pull it up, and I'm raising up the line, and there is this snapping turtle. Okay, his head was this big, coming this direction. And I was like, I've seen snappers before, have been in a boat and pulled them up and stuff. I've seen snappers before. And and the trout line was caught. uh, It would be my right shoulder because he was going north in the river. So all it was caught and he couldn't get loose. So, and then as we brought him up to the surface kind of thing, then he got pissed off. Now, the guy at the back of the canoe who's got the paddle, he's like, let's get him in the canoe. Now, this mofo was this big around. He wasn't as big as that soft shell, but he was almost as big as that soft shell. And he was sturdy and strong, and he's a snapping turtle. And he doesn't have a hook in his mouth, so he's free to bite at any time. So dumbass in the back puts the paddle over there like, hey, we're going to do. And I'm like, don't piss him off. Let me cut the rope. He might have the hook on his shoulder, but at least he won't be caught. And I was trying to get my paddle down there to see if I could just give a quick, the hook was like this. And so I just wanted to see if I could come in from the back and try to flip it loose. And if it didn't, I was just going to cut the line. But he's paddling around there. We're going to bring him in the canoe. No, no, we're not bringing that in the canoe. Now, why am I telling this story? I haven't seen Sasquatch. I haven't seen the swamp ape, but I have seen some huge old critters because we came in that night from doing that, was watching YouTube on the TV, and up pops this thing, this turtle guy who goes around and wrestles these big turtles. And he had went down to Louisiana and traveled around. He filmed it all, and he had wrestled this turtle that was about yay big around. A good sized snapper now, don't get me wrong, but he was nowhere near the size that we had literally just a couple of hours ago had confronted in my river. Now you say, well, so what's wrong with that? It's a small river. It's the little little Ochlockonee River. Okay, little. Stress that. And I'm up. I'm upstream. It's several miles to the opening. So, there are shallow spots of, but to have critters that big, ancient critters, we they calculated how old that one was to be like 75 to 100 years old. And our turtle was at least a full third, a full quarter to a third bigger than that one. Easily, easily, hands down, and almost like twice as big, huge, and ferocious, but beautiful at the same time. As like, man, that's a good looking turtle. It was shiny and the green and the head, and it was great. But so have I seen monsters or whatever? No, but I've seen ancient things coming out, swimming up and down the swamp, beavers and otters, playing and up and down the river. So there is an old ancientness to the swamps around here. Some of these old oak trees are 150, 200 years old, hands down. Thomasville has one of the oldest trees in the United States, and it's like 300 and something odd years old. It's on the register, it's being supported. It's an old live oak tree. And so there are old trees down here in the swamp. Um, anyway, so anybody want to go look? And I remember the turtle man. Yeah, it was him, and he had caught a snapper down in Louisiana, I believe, down in the South, and they were all good. But if you've ever seen him and the snapper that he had, imagine the one that was attached to the boat kind of thing. That was even freaking bigger, bigger head, bigger everything. Holy crap, let's put it in the canoe. No, you dumbass, and we're already going like this. I'm just trying to manage because the turtle is bumping up against the canoe and hitting it and bumping it, and he's trying to paddle and piss him off and bumping it together. I couldn't get to the line to cut it, and I didn't want to cut the whole trout line because that wouldn't have been efficient. So, dumbass, quit pissing him off. Don't piss off this ancient turtle. I can't, and going back, I can't imagine how old that turtle was, but he wasn't no 25 or 30 or 40. Let's keep going. Was 50 years old, and I think that one that was on the Turtle Man's thing that they had put up around 75 years old or something like that. So that turtle that we saw was clearly 100 years old. Been swimming in that river back there for 100 years or more. Holy crap, 100 years. And the soft shell that we'd seen, like it was about a week apart. This thing was, oh my God, it had to be again 100 years old. So I've seen some ancient things and been blessed that I was able to see them. Like, wow, you mean you're living back here in my backyard? These things are living in my backyard? Sweet. I don't care if anybody sees them. Sweet. They're living in my backyard. Up and down the river. Sweet. For those turtles that were going north, well, the loggerhead was in my backyard, almost in the middle of the property lines. So, sweet. I've got dinosaurs like, and the trees that are down on the river are huge, and I have protected them. But then the Hurricane Michael came along and wiped some of that stuff out. But there's still a couple of those trees down there that I've been here 40 years, and they were 100 years old when I got here. Okay. That's why I saved them from the loggers. Um, they're at least 100 years old. And because I was like, well, I don't know, they might be this. And I was like, wait, I've been here 40 years, almost a half a century. And them trees were huge then. So how old are they really? They're over there. They're 150 years old, without a doubt. And they're not mine, but I am the protector of them. You know, I can't protect them from hurricanes. Who is that came in? Uh, the native community was doing a healing on a branch that was broke. I hit my what? Yep, Richard. Maybe because they're migrating all the time. So it would be, and the depth of the water, the the one that I saw from the river down, I would not have seen from the bank. It just the way the light was and the way the river was, the depth of it. Um, I I might have seen something go by, but I would not have known what it was had I had a camera standing on the ground. Now I could put the camera thingy, and mount it to the bridge down there. You know, if I told the neighbors what I was doing, and maybe get that angle, there might be something that swam under it. Um, yeah, I got a trail cam, but I'm thinking about the concrete bridge down there and how I would attach it. I could probably figure it out. The one that we caught unexpectedly with the trout line. That one, I don't know how far north he was going. He was going upstream, which is north from my position. So where are you going, Turtle? And I've been north of here, and it gets more shallower the further north you get, and sandy and really on the east side of the river. There's some high banks. On the west side of the river, it's very flat for a good while. And there's a little hill here and there, but then to find the high bank, it's almost a quarter mile from the river center to a bank at all. So when the river comes up north of me on the other side of the bridge, there's this huge, it's almost like a pond effect. So the river rages and comes down a thing, but then all the floodplain, if it comes up, then all of this floods and trickles down under the bridge. So, but where these turtles are going, I ain't got a clue. I've been up there a good ways, and it's like, what is the habitat? I don't know where they're heading up, but to the point though, yeah, it would be cool to put a trail cam on it. Um, there's a couple of trees that cross the river between me and Ricky's place. That I couldn't do it before because of my back, but now that my back has had the surgery, and as things get more groovy for me, you know, I wouldn't mind going down there and putting a trail cam on one of those trees that are across the river. Now mount it there and see what's going up and down. I'd like to see personally. I'd like to see how many otters are there. I know that there are beavers down there because you can hear them slapping their tails. I would love to get some shots of the beaver too, and they migrate up in there. But they migrate, but they're stationed between this neighbor and me, and they swim all the way down to the bridge and back. But they're pretty much they got a hole somewhere. I used to think it was on the property, and it still may be, because there's really sweet, really hard turns, and the banks they're not real high, but there's banks, and up underneath them banks, they like to dig out holes and stuff. So the beavers have been here for as well longer than me, but I mean as long as I can remember being here. The otters, on the other hand, I'm sure they've been here as long too, but they're a little bit harder to see. Now, when I did that ceremony down on the river that time, an otter came right up to me that morning and smiled and grinned and went back down. So, and I have been on the kayak in the kayaks on the river and watched them running along the bank. So I know they're here, and I know they're traveling up and down. But it'd be really cool to get some footage of them. But I just haven't been able to do it before because of my back. After surgery, you know, all bets are off in that area. And I really want to get back on the river, you know. So, and Robert V bought me a really nice trail cam over there. There's some pictures of deer and stuff that I want to get on the computer, but getting ready for the operation and all and everything, I got to go back through all that stuff and see if I can post it because I want to post it. I got a 30-minute video of me and Duggar on the river 2 days before the operation. I want to put that up and show you what it looks like. Now that the weather's changed some more, the green has popped out. So the next time I go down to do a paddle, you'll be able to see the difference, like before spring and during, you know. So anyway, I got a lot of plans to put some videos and things up, um, and I got different topics that I want to discuss, and hopefully, you know, we can spread the peace. We can learn how to be it. And see, I'm keeping up. See, brain wise, it's all coming around. Going down to the river brings peace to me, you know. And for me, the little Clockney Hermitage, which there's a sign at the top of the driveway, come down and share. I want to share some of this peace with you. Show you an ancient river that has ancient critters on it, and you never know when one's going to go by. And other things, there are deer, and also something that I want to take pictures of. Some of you may or may not have heard of the extinction of a certain woodpecker, the ivory-billed woodpecker. And the ivory-billed woodpecker, the last time they spotted one was down here in South Georgia in the Red Hills district, which is adjacent to the Big Ochlockonee River and all of its habitat on the Ochlockonee River, the big one. Well, guess what? We and other people have sighted the ivory bill. We've sighted the female ivory bill because the other look like woody woodpecker. Um, I can't think of the name right now. The most common woodpecker, red and white, you know, the female looks like the male. The ivory bill, the female is black with white. There's very little red on her. And several of us have seen the female. I've been down on the river, like down on the river when the river was low. The bank is in some places, it's above my head. It's not 10 foot, but it's 7 foot. And so being down there, if anything wants to sneak up to the bank, they can't see you or barely smell you. Um, but while being down lower on the river and with the bank above me, I have seen this bird flying through the woods. And if she notices you or notice me, she will absolutely hang a left or hang a right. I mean, look straight in the eye. And she'll look and turn. She won't keep flying straight. And it's the oddest thing, but I've seen her several times. And one of these days, I'm going to get a picture because if I can prove that the ivory bill is still alive and well and sneakily living in the swamps around here, they'd pay $1 million for a picture. Folks in the Audubon Society would pay $1 million for an honest to God picture. So I want to get a picture to prove to myself what I've been seeing all these years, and to prove to a dear friend of mine who's passed away that yes, yes, Virginia, there really is ivory billed down here, you know. So, but also to say, see, you dummies, you didn't wipe them out. They're so damn sneaky They're called the hiding birds. And there's a story about the hiding birds. And so the fact that nanny, nanny, boo, boo, you missed one or a few. So there is a woodpecker thing going on. Oh, what's the name of it? There's something woodpecker down here in the south. Is that wire eye? Dude, how are you? I'm doing well. And y'all subscribe to his channel. He does updates on the sun and stuff. Wire eye. Y'all are here in the chat. Subscribe to his channel. He's a good man. And good to see you. Yeah. Today is 1 week officially. I'm out of the hospital and I'm going back to the doctor tomorrow, doctors, and I'm doing the best I can. It's good to see you, my friend. But so there are things that, from the Hermitage point of view, and for me, I've been inviting people to come down here, just go for a walk. you know, I was digging a hole once and came across some eggs. Took the eggs, we buried them in a pot covered with an old water jug. I watched them hatch. They were prairie rat snakes. You let them go out in the pasture. That's good. That's good. Snakes are good for the environment. Folks, oh, that's down here. Ooh, it's a moccasin. Bang, bang, bang. If they got their 22 in their pocket, down in the swamp. And other people like get a stick and kill them immediately. And he's like, no, that's a water snake. That's a brown banded water snake. And for God's sakes, quit killing them. But also, and my short trip down the river, well, I guess it's been officially, almost 3 weeks now. But anyway, because I went on Monday. But anyway, paddling that is. And, there were turtles. It was a little chilly, but not cold. A long sleeve shirt wasn't hot. But there's very little activity. There are no snakes. There were turtles, yes. Didn't see the alligator that usually hangs around in the area that I was in. Was expecting to see the alligator, but I didn't even see any signs. You can tell if they go up the bank or not. They little rubs, and you can tell an alligator that like on the sand. You see footprints, and then you'll see where they drag their tail through. It's unmistakable. So when you get close to the shore, all you got to do is just spot and see if you see those signs. And the alligator is he's at least 7 foot long, and not over 10, and it depends on how you measure out to the tippy tip of the tail. But, most of him is about 7 foot long, the main part of him, her, as the case may be. But it's very interesting, though. But the trees and everything blooming, it's absolutely gorgeous this time of year. But there's not many fruit trees or stuff. What's interesting, the cypress trees are blooming, and they've got their own. They're different shades of green. It's just hard to describe. Now, going back to the swamp ape thing, I do think that there are swamp people, and they just don't want to be messed with by anybody. And I have found, me and my buddy Rob that comes and checks on me all the time, that we found a huge old oak tree down by the cement thing that I found along the river that I've talked about in previous videos. I want to do a separate video just about this area. But in this huge oak tree with great big limbs going out was a tree fort of sorts, up off the ground, but built onto the tree. It was a very bad tree house, but it looked like the kind of tree fort that we made as kids. But the tree that they built it in is the limbs are like, whoa, they're huge and streaming out and everything. And we didn't have them kind of trees. They were really close to the trunk. So our tree forts, tree houses were, built right around the trunks and several stories high, made out of scrap stuff and this and that. Can't believe how we built them and how many kids we could get up in one of them damn things. But so somebody built a tree fort down there in the swamp. And for whatever reason, I've been, first we saw it from the river and didn't get out. The next time we saw it, we had time, we got out and scoped it out, and it was dangling and things, and it was pretty much down. And then the next time I went down by myself, I got out and looked, and it was like there was nothing left but some cloth hanging from the tree. So storms got it and ripped most of the rest of it out. So, but if you wanted a tree fort, that was one of them, and the tree's still there. So if you got the materials and everything, and put yourself, build a little platform, and you could pop a little tent on it. You could cook up there and live up there, and nobody would know unless they spotted you from the river, because the nearest road is like 2 miles away, and it don't come near that swamp anyway. So there could be people living down in there without any problem, because they just know where you have to go. And before I left Tampa down there, we started canoeing up the Hillsborough River, and we had us a similar type camp in a tree up there. Yeah, up there. We had hammocks that we hung up in the tree. So all these kids that are doing hammocks and stuff, and all these different parachute type of things in trees, and I think it's great. But no offense, but we were doing that in like 69 and 70 in our own homemade stuff. It's cool, y'all keep doing it, but if you think you the first, nope. We were very inventive back then. And when you want to go down in the swamp and camp, it's a swamp. You can't just do it on the ground, it's a swamp, you know. So first thing you do is find higher ground, you find them. And for me, we were always climbing trees in our neighborhood. There was a couple of trees that we used to race and time ourselves to see, because in our tiny little kids' heads, it was after World War II, and there was a couple of submarine movies and up Periscope, you know. So for us, up Periscope, and we had to get to a certain part of the tree, and everybody had their place in the conning tower. You were 5. I do have rattlesnakes around. Yeah. Now I'm a question about rattlesnakes because they got their place too, but I've only seen an adder twice in my life about. Oh wow. I've had big snakes in here in the bathroom, and when I was out in the shed, there were actually, excuse my language, there were 2 snakes fucking. That's off, and they were twisted up and doing their thing. And somewhere upstairs on the other computer, I got pictures of it. I might even have a tiny little video of these two, and they're oak snakes. They're beautiful snakes, but they're around here, no doubt. The earlier this spring, we was out walking around trying to see where the strawberries patch is and how if I could reclaim any of that snake. Oh my God! When years ago, me and my partner at the time, we were doing it. Okay, and we were having a good time. Let me tell you, I'll leave it at that. But very happy and wooey and just yum 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 and there was something flapping and something flapped. Me looking down and over to my right, there are 2 snakes doing it. They had crawled up the way I had poorly designed the house and had crawled up from the. I've got an overhang over the house. There's a 2 foot overhang because it was the house too small upstairs. You couldn't put a freaking bed up there. So I left the pillars and extended 2 foot out after I'd built it. to give us more room. Well, the pillars were still there because they were supporting downstairs. Well, there were two snakes in the shed doing it, but this was a separate time. It may have been the same snakes because this one snake's been around here forever. I keep seeing it. It's a huge. It's 7 foot long. Great big oak snake. It is beautiful, and I think it lives up above the my little bathroom area back here because I've seen it come from there out of the wall, down the wall, and go right between my legs. Like nothing's there. I've seen the right there as you go in the toilet right there, the snake skin laying on the floor. It shed its skin right there. So yeah, it's been living around here for a long time. But no, the I think it was the first time I saw him do it. I think. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because the second time was the crazy wife. Okay, um, was still working on the house and still under construction, but the walls are up and everything upstairs, and I have just extended the floor out, so we got a bigger room. We got just a regular. A queen size bed won't fit up there, so it's just a regular bed. And thanks to Frank Lloyd Wright, who would like to kick in the nuts, he's a stupid architect. But anyway, um, where'd that come from, right? But anyway, so she's on the bottom, I'm on the top, and I'm looking down, and it was like something slapped us both. It hit me first and hit her next. It was like, what the F was that? And then it happened again. And there was a little bit of light in the room, and I reached over to my left, turned on the light, and slap again. We looked to our right. Well, it had been her left, but anyway, uh, there's these two snakes. I had built this pillar of 2x6s with spaces in it, and we were using those spaces as shelving. And later on, I cut them off and fixed it up. And but at the time, because we were in but anyway, they were just whipping around and doing this thing, and it was like, holy crap, we're over here, and they're the snakes at the same time, right there. Everybody can do. Holy crap! Now, a stupid joke that years old. There's a train engineer running his regular route, hauling ass through the countryside, coming up on this little town where all he usually has to do, maybe there might be a whistle stop. He toots the horn. Now it's just about dusk, and you can still see outside, but the main headlight of the train is on, and he's looking out through and doot doot, and he looks off in the distance, and there's something in the middle of the tracks. So best thing to do is doot doot, and he's getting up there closer, and he's like, "Wait a minute, there's something there. Maybe I should slow the train down." So he don't know what it is, but he can see it down there. So toot toot one more time, and he takes the steam off of the train, and it just starts to slow down. And then doot doot one more time. It's two people. Dude, what's going on? Two people, and they're getting it on. They are getting it on. He slams on the brakes, and the train screeches to a halt. And he gets out and he said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And the man says to him, he said, "We heard you coming, and we was a coming, and I was a coming, and she was a coming, but you were the only one that had brakes." Now I'm going to shut up because my neighbor here is with my supper. I love you all. Have a great day. And I'll be back. Keep a smile on your face and put peace in your heart. And I love you all. 2 hours and 10 minutes, huh? Not bad. We're good.